Okay, so just to double check, you did number 1, and when you got your two answers, 2 and 5, make sure you go back and check them so to see if you have any extraneous solutions. Number 2, we don't know how to do this step yet, so just get to here and then we'll come back. So number 3, this is just like back in the day when you would get everything set to equal to 0 and then factor and then solve each binomial, set it equal to 0 and solve. Okay, so number 4. If we look at number 4, do you see how it's similar to number 3? So number 3 had something squared plus 4 something plus 3. This has something squared plus 4 something plus 3 equal to 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to use what's called u substitution. We're going to let u equal x plus 2. So everywhere we see an x plus 2, we're going to put a u. So u squared 4u plus 3 equals 0. Now we already solved this and we know that u is equal to -1 and -3. However, if we were doing number 4, we don't want to know what u is equal to. We want to know what x is equal to. So we have to go back and say, okay, if u is equal to x plus 2 and u is equal to -3, can't x plus 2 equal -3? And then likewise, x plus 2 would also equal -1. And then you can solve for x. Okay, so let's try this one that is not on in your workbook. We have something with a 2/5 and an x to the 1/5. So I'm going to just try one here. I'm going to say u is equal to x to the 2/5. And then that would mean that u squared, if I squared both sides here, squaring 2/5 would be x to the 4/5. Now, do I have a spot for the x to the 2/5? Well, yes, my u could go right there. Do I have a spot for u squared? Do I have an x to the 4/5 somewhere? No. So this is wrong. So that's wrong. So I'm going to try the next one. Well, I have a 2/5. That didn't work. Let's try this one. What if u is equal to x to the 1/5? Then that means u squared would equal x to the 2/5. Because if you square it, x to the 1/5 squared means you multiply the exponents, and that would be your 2/5. So we put the u in so that would be 2u plus 3 equals u squared was our substitution there. Now this looks like a quadratic, so set everything equal to 0. I'm going to move everything over to the right-hand side just so my u squared can be positive. And then we can factor real quick. And don't lose your equal 0. That's going to remind you that you need to set each one equal to 0. So that means u is equal to positive 3, and u is also equal to -1. But again, my original problem didn't have a u in it. I want to know what x is. So if we take our substitution and substitute it back in, instead of u equals 3, we can write x to the 1/5 equals 3, and x to the 1/5 equals -1. Now, I'm not needing this one anymore because I don't have u squared equals something. So I didn't need that. All I needed it was for my substitution the first time. Now, x to the 1/5 recall that means the fifth root of x, and the fifth root of x equaling 3, and the fifth root of x equaling -1. Well, how do I get rid of the fifth root? I take it to the fifth power. So that would be x, and I need to do that on both sides. And -1 to the fifth power is -1. And if I do that over here as well, let's see, 3 to the fourth is 81, so 243, I believe. Oops, not 245, 243 equals x. And you can double check that. So go ahead and try the rest of them. Keep in mind what you're doing at all times.